Hello guys, as I said, I'm gonna make a full header tutorial. Everything you need is linked down in the description, and yeah, have fun. Okay, so first of all, we're gonna make a new composition, 3000 by 1000 pixels, and change the resolution to 300. Okay, you're gonna set up your text. I've done a full tutorial on how to do a text like this on my YouTube channel. I'm gonna link it in the description. And as a next step, you're gonna search up a main render, and yeah, you also want to search up for some more renders. I would say something like around 5. We're gonna place them in the background and stuff. Next, you're gonna search up for wallpapers of that anime, and you're gonna resize them and make them a bit smaller and just erase some parts of the edges so it looks cleaner and soft. To change the hardness of your brush, you're just gonna press Alt and right click and move your mouse to the top of your screen. Okay, when you're done with that part, you're gonna hold Shift and left click on your bottom layer and Shift and left click on your top layer, and then press Ctrl and G to group them, and then press Ctrl and E to merge them into one layer. Next, you're gonna press Ctrl and U and check the Colorize box. You're gonna change the hue to the color of your text, and the saturation gonna be something really low, as well as the lightness. Next, you're gonna head over to filters and blur, then click on Gaussian blur and change the radius to something around 2 to 3 or something like this. Next, we're gonna make a new adjustment layer, and we're gonna take the gradient map, clip it to our render, and change the color to black and white. And next, we're gonna take another adjustment layer. We're gonna take exposure, and we will make the exposure higher and the gamma correction also higher, so the blacks get more black again. Then we're gonna take our next render. I'm just gonna erase this little part right there. And I will put him behind the render and just let him peek out a little bit. Then we're gonna take the next render, and I will also put him behind the main render, but this time on his left side. We are also going to make him black and white, so make a new gradient map, change the colors to black and white again, and clip it to the render. Also create an exposure adjustment layer, pull up the exposure and the gamma correction, just the same stuff as before. Next, you're gonna open up my assets pack. I put a link down in the description, and you're gonna head over to the plants and just copy paste, for example, that plant. Just take whatever plant you want and place them in one of the corners. What I also like to do is to head over to the main render again and create a new layer and put it above the main render. And then you're gonna take your brush, take the color of your header, and make the brush just as big as his eyes and the hardness again to 0%. and then you're gonna change the layer style to linear dodge. What I also like to do is creating a new layer behind the main render, and just take a big brush and just paint once behind them, so it gets this glowy effect. And then you're gonna create an adjustment layer with hue and saturation, and you're gonna change it to Colorize and choose the color of your header again, and then you're gonna set the blend mode to linear dodge. Then you're gonna click on the adjustment layer and press Ctrl and I, so it inverts the colors. That means the whites are getting black. And then you're gonna paint with a soft brush just on the edges of your render. Then you're gonna go into my pack again and head over to the brushes tab, and you're gonna take one brush that you like. I will take this one, and yeah, we're gonna place it right behind the text, and we will press Ctrl and I to invert it again to make it white, and we're gonna change the blend mode to overlay. What I also like to do is to take a hard brush and just click one time to get a circle, and then create a new layer and take a black and a white color, and you're gonna clip the layer to the circle and then paint with a soft brush on the edges. You're gonna paint with black on one edge and with white on the other. Then you're going to head over to filter and go to blur and motion blur and change the distance to something around 30 pixels. Then duplicate it by pressing Ctrl and J and place it on the empty spaces of your header. Then you're gonna head over to the textures tab and take this texture, and you're gonna place it somewhere in your header and change the blending mode to lighten, and then you're gonna erase some parts of it. Then you want to go to the halftones tab and take one of the halftones, and you want to place it somewhere in your background. In the next step I'm looking for another texture, and I'm just gonna place it in the back and change the color with a gradient map. Then press T to get the text tool and write in the name of the anime character and place it somewhere above the text. Then you're gonna take another text layer and write the last name of the anime character. Then you're gonna select both text layers by pressing Ctrl and left click the first and Ctrl and left click on the second one. Then you're gonna duplicate it by pressing Ctrl and J, and then you're gonna merge it by pressing Ctrl and E. Next you're gonna head over to filters, go to blur and Gaussian blur and change the size to 10 pixels. What I like to do next is just do some sketches on the header in the background and writing the name of the client, for example, or something like this. For the rest of your header, until you come to the finishing part, you're just gonna take some random stocks and place them somewhere in your header, maybe behind the font and stuff. And yeah, that's basically everything that you're gonna do. When you're done with the main part of your header, you're gonna press your bottom layer with shift and left click and your top layer with shift and left click, and then group them with Ctrl and G. Next you're gonna make a new group and take some particles and paste them into this group to give it the final touch. Then you're gonna head over to my pack and open the CC folder, and you're just gonna copy the CC unhide group and just paste it above your layer. And you're going to take all your layers again, duplicate them by pressing Ctrl and J, and merge them by Ctrl and E. Then you want to head over to the rectangle tool and just select your whole header and press Ctrl and J. Then you want to go to filter and magic bullet looks, and you're gonna apply my magic bullet looks settings. The settings are in my pack, which is linked down in the description. Then you're going to duplicate the layer 2 times and go to filter, other and high pass, and change it to 10 pixels. And on the second layer you're gonna go to blur and change it to 10 pixels as well. You're going to change the blend mode for the blur layer to lighten and change the opacity to something around 50 to 60. And the high pass layer, you're going to put it to overlay and just keep it on 100. Yeah, that's the way I'm doing my headers. I hope I could help you with the tutorial. If you still got any questions, feel free to DM me on Twitter. And yeah, let me know what you want to see next, and have a nice day.